Hey, it's Dee with DSisk Photography, and I am going to go over my new action set called Glamour. It's only a retouch action set, cosmetic action set, and it also has a couple edits on top that were designed more for boudoir, but actually it works on pretty much any image, like this one. The retouch works great for headshots. The first thing you can do is read this little instructions. Just tells you the first step you want to do is actually clean up the face as best as you can. That way it starts with and I'm just going to use a healing brush and just sort of get these little spots. And it's best to do that beforehand if you are running any retouching actions, because it makes it easier to clean up. And since it only takes a few seconds to use your healing brush. Alright, zoom back out. And as you can tell, I broke them out in the face, eyes, mouth, hair. So all the facial things are in this one, eyes, mouth, hair. I also have, way up top is a full retouch, and that runs all my retouch actions. It needs to be pulled down here. It runs all these retouch actions below and puts them all together. It doesn't group them, but it puts them all above your thing, so you can, if you're doing a full retouch, that's great to use. And then up here there are different edits to achieve different looks, so we're gonna just do this one really quick. This was from Heather from House of Harkless, and she sent me this image to use. And I wanna just give it a second to run all these through. Alright, pause that really quick so that I could run it through because it takes me online. I can tell there's quite a bit of layers. What's good is you can actually just go in and pick which ones you want to use. If you don't want to use all your layers, you can just pick and choose which one you want to do, or if you are wanting to do a full one, you can just run that and it has all of them pop up for you. Works either way depending on what you want to achieve. So I'm going to get a white brush, soft edge, hardness at 0, size is irrelevant, it's just whatever fits the face. I'm going to go a little larger, 300 or 250. I have it set at 70% right now, and that's just so I can show the effect quicker. I'm just going to paint it on your black mask, make sure it's selected. If you notice it's not doing anything, you may not have your mask selected when you're doing it, so make sure your mask is actually selected, or it will not be showing anything because it's a black mask, but you'll be painting on the actual layer part, which is what you don't want to paint on. Okay, so just that, and then there's airbrush 2, which is another airbrush ring. You can layer them together on top of each other. It's a little bit of it's more smooth than the other one. The other one has more detail on it, so it depends on what you're going for. Then there's a smoother, so if you have a lot of issues, you can run a smoother on it. Actually, just a second. Oh, see, look, I'm choosing my layer mask like I just told you not to do. No wonder it's not showing anything. Oh. Sorry about that, a little issue there. Actually I meant to change, for some reason when it ran my thing, it ran the layers wrong. Smoother will be, if you're going to use smoother with airbrush, you'll need it underneath the airbrush layers. As you can just brush it on there really quick to show. I don't think this needs it really at all. So if you don't need it, you can delete it, or you can just leave it, not brush on the mask. Actually, my airbrush is strong, so what's good is you can adjust your opacities down to make it more natural, even tone. What you want to do is click on a color that's what you want the skin tone, overall tone to be. Click on your mask, get your white brush. Mine's at, what, 40% right now. Just sort of paint over the face to help even out the tone. It's good also for highlights or where you could be losing detail. You can brush it right on there and it will help bring a color into that. If you have excess red or oranges, like extra tan, you can brush this right over the areas, or you can, if the entire image has got a little too much in it, here, let me show. That's with it brushed on, you can tell it's taken some of that red out. Taken. Or you can click on the actual layer mask and hit Control-I, then invert it, and you can see the actual effect. And then you can adjust your opacity down if your overall image has got too much red or orange. So I'm going to do the whole image and just do it at 6%. Blotter is for any highlights that are a little too bright. You can brush it over the highlight area. It's going to dull it down a little bit. Be careful because it can start to appear gray, and that's when you'll want to adjust your opacity down. Or use a lower opacity brush, contour, and highlight. If you don't know anything about facial shapes and how to contour them, well, we're going to do it right here. So with makeup, the best thing to do when you contour is to, I have 40%, is to add shadowing underneath the chin, around the edge of the face, on the hairline. I should have done it at 20%, but I'm going to go back down to 20. On the eyebrows, down the side of the nose. And you can even do the lips a little bit. Alright, and then highlight, the best places to highlight are in the middle of your forehead. Pull it down the bridge of the nose, underneath the eyes where the top of the cheek is, and the bottom of the chin. So that's really quick highlight and contour, and then you'll want to adjust your opacity so it looks more natural. Paint those cheeks if you want to add a little bit of color and richness to the cheeks. Just use your brush and paint right on there. And you can double click this and adjust the color you're painting. So you can look a brown, or if you want more of a flushy pink, a lighter pink. I like the color that I have already. Adjust that down. Skin booster, I'm going to set mine at 50% my brush, and just brush right over the skin. And it's going to add a little bit of a boost in the skin. It's going to add some color. So if your white balance is off or anything like that, you might not want to use this because it could add a weird color tone. As you see, it just warms it up a little bit and boosts it up. Alright, this section, as you can, if you look down here, you can see where these are located at. This is the eyes section. We're going to zoom in just a little bit more. And I still got it set at 50%. Anyway, sharpest attack is just an eye sharpener. Before, after, it just adds a little bit of sharpness. If you need more, you can actually use, what's good is you can use some of these on multiple sections of the face. It don't really matter. Eye pop Just adds an extra bit of depth to the eyes. If you got bags, double click here, click a color right underneath the bags, and then click here and brush it right underneath where your bags are. And it's just gonna lighten them up a little bit. I'm gonna add some eyeshadow, change the color of the eyes. I would set your brush around 20% and just be careful with it and just brush right over the top here. And it's gonna add a color to the top of the eyes, and then you can obviously double click here and change it to whatever color you want to play with. So you can pull colors from outfits. I'll do this one. If you want to add a little bit of a more dramatic eye or enhance eye makeup, it's already there. Just brush this right over the top of that area. And under the eyeshadows, I still got at 20%. I would probably do it at 40 if you really want to go dramatic. Add a little bit more light into the eyes with bright eyes. Definers for the lips, and it just adds a little bit of sharpness to the lips. You can, like I said, use this one for the eyes if you wanted to also. Or you could brush on the wrong one, like I just said earlier. Alright, let's go back. And make sure the mask is selected or you'll go crazy. Whiten and brighten, your teeth aren't showing, but you can also use it on the white areas of the eyes. Just be careful, like I said, with bright-eyed and eye pop and all those, because when you make your eyes look too bright, it starts to look unnatural. So just go back and fix that. Paintless lips is just adding some color to the lips. And you can, like I said, change it to different colors. Okay. Lip pop is just a little bit of a booster for the lips. Add some depth. Hair. Then the top, there's a hair section, there's bye-bye stray hairs. And this is just a really blur layer, so be careful with it. I set it at 80%, and you need the one with a good depth of field to use this, or it will look unnatural. You can brush a little bit on the background, it depends on the image. And just brush up against where the stray hairs are at. And then if you get too close, just use the black brush and go up around the edges again and bring back some of that detailing. And then hairbrush, we're going to brush this on at 20%. And it just adds, it enhances your colors in the hair, and it adds some contrast. So if you zoom out, as it deepens, it adds a little bit of richness in the color. So this is without the airbrush set, or the full retouch, and this is with full retouch. So, and this is just extreme with all of them at pretty much full best. So you adjust your opacities down, you can group them together and adjust it down. Or you can keep it like this if you're going for a more of that look. And then, like I said, on the instructions up here, you can go up here and run easy edit, which is just a couple quick layers for editing. So there's that, and you can turn on this black and white layer if you want. If you high key, it just really brightens it up. And you want to, this is 100%, so you want to adjust that down if needed. And then you can turn your black and white layer back on and play with that a little bit. Black and white layer, you can easily be turned on and off. Low key, it's going to deepen it quite a bit. So you want to play with that adjustment. If you're looking for a deeper image, let me turn my black and white back on. Vintage is going to add a matte in 2 vintage tones, and the matte is 100%, so you want to adjust it down or up depending on the look you want. And you can play with your tones. You can turn your black and white layer on, and then if the tones are above it, it's going to add a color. You can turn off your tones, just have a matte black and white, or you can add a tone black and white with the blue or the warmer purple. Turn those. And bold is it's going to boost your color and boost your contrast. So the color could affect your skin tone, so you may want to brush it off if it makes it too orangey, or you can just adjust the opacity down. And just same with contrast, or you can turn your black and white layer on and have a more of a contrasty black and white. And soft is a more, it works great for on white sheets and stuff like that if you're going for like a soft, airy look. As you can see right here, it's just more of a softer feel. The black and white is going to look kind of brown because of this cream tone. You can either pull your black and white above it to that soft black and white, or you can, if you left it where it was, just turn off the cream tone, but I like the cream tone, so I would pull it if you wanted to keep it just no color tone, just pull it above it. Okay, and that is everything that's included in the Glamour Girl action set, which will be available very, very soon.